and we travel back in time to meet a modern-day Doc Holliday.
I would like to invite you into another one of our many exhibits here at Docville. This one here being the bank, post office, and recently sheriff's office.
All this and more on Watch This.
Feels like we're back in the 1800s, walking down Main Street of a typical Western town. We're on a spoke car just trying to carve a living out of the old lonesome prairie. Welcome to Docville, a real-life Wild West town just outside of Toronto. To find out why this town is here and who built it, we're talking to the proprietor, Doc Holliday. Doc, thank you so much for having us in your town.
Well, thank you, Sonia.
I hear
You're welcome.
You are an actual descendant of the real Doc Holliday. Is that true?
Well, this is what I have discovered. After I had been building the town and been collecting all of these old artifacts, I bought this collection of Wild West magazines. And as I started reading these magazines, I discovered this name of Holliday, which was spelt with the H-O-L-L-I-D-A-Y, pop up. So after, kind of reading all this, and it started to pique my curiosity, I called a genealogist. And after a couple of weeks or so, he called me back and said, yes, you are definitely a blood relative to the Doc Holliday.
You said that you actually built this town before you found out you were a descendant, so why build it?
Well, I always had a real kind of passion, for the past, and I used to love watching Western movies. And, when you would leave the theater, you'd say, wow, that's so cool, wouldn't it have been nice to live in that time? And as the opportunity presented itself back about 20 years ago when I found this property. And then one day I decided to turn this building into the Longhorn Saloon. And this is how the whole project started, in this actual building here. And we just kind of grew this point on.
Now, who would have used the saloon back in the good old days?
Well, saloons were pretty much a major social gathering for those times. And pretty much anybody that was traveling would head for the saloon, for business.
And a little bit of drink?
That's right, a little bit of drink, and sometimes even a little bit of companionship. Sonia, I would like to invite you into the Grand Hall Parlor of the Docville Hotel.
Nice. So what was the parlor used for?
Well, the parlor was a meeting place for, I guess you would say, many dignitaries of them. When the railroads came into the western town, so did the money. So we've tried to create here at Docville a similar feeling and ambience of what that might have been like. Right down to our French velvet drapes, authentic, Georgian lace curtains, and the dark, rich colors. Sonia, I would like to invite you into another one of our many exhibits here at Docville. This one here being the bank, post office, and recently sheriff's office.
And recently sheriff's office?
Well, due to a couple of robberies that have taken place in town, so we thought it best that if the sheriff set up his office here, it might quail some of that unlawful activity.
Now, besides the fact that the post office, the bank, and the sheriff's office is all here together in this one room, how would business have been different back in the old days than it is today, conducted in banks?
Well, as back in the old days, especially in a mining town, people would have brought their gold dust to the bank to have it exchanged for cash. People that were trapping, they would have brought their furs and exchanged their goods for money. So there was a lot of the so-called bartering of goods. So whether it be gold, furs, and even lumber.
Thanks so much for having us here today, Doc. So any last-minute words of cowboy wisdom you'd like to share with us before we leave?
Well, I guess two of the most prophetic could be never squat with your spurs on.
That would hurt.
Yes, and always drink upstream from the herd.
Wise words. Thank you and happy trails.
Well, thank you and happy trails to you.